So, yo. So the sort of what alienates people, like people can be so drastically different. And oftentimes we think, ourselves that we are good. And not that our actions are wrong, but we then exalt and we say we are better than others. And this is what pride is. It's like, I'm better than you. And the virtue that combats pride is humility. And so Jesus said that whoever humbles himself will be exalted, and whoever exalts himself will be humbled. It's a very unique teaching, and I really do adore it because it's so true. And that there's people that say like, "Oh, I'm the best in the world," and then they'll get humbled. Like Muhammad Ali is like the perfect example. Oh, I'm the best, I'm this, I'm that. And then look at him at the end of his life, Like that's what happens. Humbled, And I don't want to get into details, but like having someone to like help you go to the bathroom is pretty emasculating, to say the least. Then you look at someone that actually truly humbles himself. I was driving and I saw this and it was just so cool. But like, there's this homeless guy. He's in a wheelchair, and he's going and he's cleaning the street. And I was like, wow. I'm like, oftentimes because we look at homeless people and we say, oh, he's doing this drug and he's doing this and all that, mental problems, etc., etc. And it's like, you look at this person, he's cleaning the street. Like, the street is like clean because of him. And it was something that was just, I was shocked, to say the least. Because for one, you don't really pay attention when you're out and about, but when you do pay attention, you're like, wow, that's actually really cool. And so that's the sort of humbling that you could do. And being humble, being meek, it all it comes down to is like, what do you think of other people? That's all it comes down to. Do you actually value this other person? Do you actually love this other person? Or are you sort of indifferent, or don't care, or really don't like this person? That's really what it comes down to. And it's like, there's one prayer which is like, which I'm not gonna say, but really like humble yourself to people, especially like, and like love people, especially the ones you hate. That's like the biggest thing. Because if you don't, then like fights break out, aggression breaks out, violence, etc., war, strife, and at the end, like what use was it? When everything's destroyed and basically everyone's dead, like who technically won? And that's why Jesus said, blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Is because when two prideful people, two prideful nations are around each other, they'll start fighting each other because they're saying, I'm better than you, I do this, I'm that, yada yada yada. And then they fight each other to the death. And then what's left is nothing. They're both destroyed, they're both dead, and only what remains is what? People who are meek, who are humble. And to put it simply, like the homeless people, those who live on very little. Because for one, they're often overlooked. They're basically like at the bottom of society, essentially. And so that's where the meekness can occur. And that, the growing an individual. So again, you don't need to like the lives of the saints are cool. I would just like history itself is cool. Learning about people's lives is very interesting. And I would say that it's just like spending time alone is really awesome, and prayer is really, really, really awesome, and it's required. Literally, you need to pray. Like, and I'm not saying like say a specific prayer, but like just sit in silence. Literally. And it doesn't even matter if you're the busiest person in the world, you can sit in silence for 4 minutes. Like, it's not. It's a long time, but it's not like. And you shouldn't be really timing this. But again, if you have to get used to it, if you want to make it a game, etc., it's really, really, really good. And essentially, that's what you're supposed to be doing when you go to sleep. You lay in your bed and you sit there. You know, and you think about everything. You know, you'll get random thoughts, etc., and just think through these things. I remember someone said something to me that we're reading this thing, and they were like, "Oh, you exemplify this like virtue of just being quiet and like meek and like really listening to people and like just being really quiet." 2 people said that to me, and like for me, like the first time I hear it, I'm like, oh, okay. The second time, it's just like, for one, like I don't need your like confirmation that I'm better than you. I don't. I already know I'm better than you. I don't need you to tell me that, hey, you're doing what you're doing is really good, because I know what I'm doing is really fucking good. And it was sort of like I just like rolled my eyes. I'm like, you're fucking stupid. Like, for one, worry about yourself. If you think this is a good virtue to be quiet, then actually practice it. That's for one. And number two, if you're married and you're a girl, and you don't veil at mass, it's like, I think about that and I'm like, you're just dishonoring your husband. Like, you're no wonder your husband's having a fucking difficult time, you know? And it's like, that's one thing. It's like, it's fucking stupid, you know? And it's like, was it worth it? I don't know. Like, people think that marriage is somehow like going to like fix them. It's not. You're gonna have every single problem that you have right now, you're gonna have if you get married. And in fact, it's even fucking more difficult because you're with another human being. You think how difficult it is to change yourself. Now try changing someone else. And that's often what happens. They're like, you want someone else to be different. And it's like, this is why it should take roughly 9 months of marriage preparation in order for you to then get married. Like, you should talk to this person deeply, like get to know them, get to know their family, understand the values of this person, what this person wants. Are they the same values that you have and the same wants that you have? And it's like, oftentimes they're not. There's one example, like Dan Pena. He's like this really, I want to say rich, but rich like guy that like works. I mean, just 100 hours a week, just like works. And he was married to his first wife, and essentially, like, after he made like, tens and hundreds of millions, the wife was like, when is it enough? And I'm not saying that the wife is wrong necessarily, but like, and maybe she had a point. Maybe it's like, do you really, like, if you make another 100 million, is it really going to change your life? The problem is like, you need to like work. You need to do work on something, and something that you enjoy. And so that resentment can grow when the spouse doesn't feel as if you're spending time with them. And it's like, if you want someone successful and you want to marry someone who's successful, you would want that person out on the field working. You don't want him sitting at home doing nothing on the couch, slouched over. You would resent that. And it's like oftentimes these women don't know what they want. And it's like, if he spent 2 more hours with you a week, would that change anything? There was a quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings, and they did like a little documentary about his life. Kirk Cousins. And basically every single Tuesday, he takes off. And so he doesn't go and train. He doesn't um, he just spends the day with his family. And so he goes with his family and they go do something, either with the kids, and then every Tuesday he goes for a walk with his wife. And I thought that is perfect. That is absolutely perfect. Like, you need to schedule that in. And his wife was talking about it. It's like, it really, really, really helped our marriage. And it's like, think about that. Like, once a week, you have one day, that's the day to do it. And you can make Sunday that day. That is like the perfect day to do it. And that, you wake up early, you go for a little walk. Maybe you walk to church instead of driving. But anyway, maybe you drive to church and then you get to church and then you go for a walk or in the church garden or whatever. You just go for a little walk. And then you go and you sit in the chapel or you sit in the church and you just pray. That'll be like a great like reset for your whole week. And then you go to Mass, you pray the Mass, you listen to the homily, listen to the priest. And it's like a good day, and then after Mass, you drive home, then you go for a walk with your wife, maybe you go out to eat, and it'll be like a family day. Now, in regards to, usually that day would be like Tuesday, especially priests are very busy on Sunday, and obviously Kirk Cousins, he like plays games on Sundays, and so just like, but incorporating like one day a week to just do nothing, essentially. And even if you're not married, just to do nothing. And like Sunday is that perfect, provided you're not like a priest, but Sunday's like that perfect day to do it, And it's something like it's somewhat lost. Like, we need to spend time just doing nothing. You need to do a lot of nothing before you can do something, And when you sit in your room, you often think it's not productive, but it actually is. Like, you organize your thoughts, what you want in life, your inhibitions, problems that occurred, etc. You can think through these things. And that's essentially what prayer is. It's often very beautiful and fruitful and very good. Like, I would rather be alone for an hour than go and talk to someone for an hour. But they're both good. They're both good, but they're very different, The temptation is like, you can't go too much isolation, and you can't go too much into talking. So you need to find that happy medium, and it's usually you talk to, a few people. Just a few. Like, not being like overly talkative to the point where it's like you're negligent with your speech. Usually, like, you should sit in silence for a while. And specifically with some people, they don't do that. They don't sit in silence. And it's like, oh, you're really, 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 like, you're doing disservice to yourself when you do that. Real big disservice. And so, I remember telling someone, he was telling me that, it was when the Catholic Church got shot up and 2 children died. And he was saying, oh, it was so bad that happened. And I'm like, they deserved it, And oftentimes, we look at something tragic that happens, and it's like, we need to understand, like, yes, tragic things do happen, but it's like, ultimately, like, if you don't believe in God, then you have literally no fucking idea, no grounding, no source of like, oh, like God's good and like He has this under control. And oftentimes we place that importance on ourselves, and we think that, oh, what we do is somehow better than what others do, or it's somehow doing something or changing something. And it's like, for some, yes, but for the majority of people in this world, like, what they do doesn't fucking matter. And that's sort of in the book of the Ecclesiastes. It's like everything is meaningless. Like, everything is chasing after the wind. And so it's just like, eat your food, enjoy your work, and sleep, and fear God. That's what you do. And that's like a powerful, powerful saying. Because we place so much importance on ourselves, and this is what pride is. We say, oh, what I'm doing is actually helping people. Oftentimes, like, there's two individuals, and they think that what they're doing is good. And, like, you need to, like, be humbled. Like, if you didn't exist, I guarantee you what you're doing, like, has little to no significance. And it's like, it's difficult for people to hear that, but like, you need to hear that. Like, you value your works, and I'm not saying your works are bad, but it's like, you can spend a day doing nothing. You know? I'm not saying you should, but like, once a week, spend a day doing nothing. You know? Spend some time doing nothing. You know? Just do nothing, so you can do something.